Welcome back. This is John Locke, and today I'm discussing how giving recommendations for SEO, giving a check-off list of things that need to be done is only half of the battle, and how convincing the stakeholders in a project, convincing the rest of the team that they need to implement that advice and getting them to buy into what you're saying is really the other half of the battle. And the bigger the organization, the harder this often is, because in bigger organizations, like enterprise level organizations, there's often different teams. Marketing might be one team, management is one team, web development might be another team. So getting everybody involved to buy into what you're saying and recognize that your recommendations need to be taken care of is super, super important. And the illustration that I'm going to give is a forum thread that I saw this morning, where a in-house marketer or SEO member of the marketing team on a B2B type of business, they didn't indicate who it is, essentially they're having a hard time convincing their web developers on their team to implement 301 redirects. Now, the example that they gave is the web developers are coming back saying, we don't want to implement 301 redirects, which are basically when you change a web address. Let's say you have a page and you change the URL of it. That 301 redirect, if somebody types in that old web address, or there's a link out there to that old web address, it just forwards to the new page. That's a 301 redirect. It keeps people from going to a page not found, file not found type of page. And very important for SEO, because if there are any existing links out there to a page and you change the URL, those links, basically the link equity, the page rank that's flowing from those external websites into your website, basically just vanish into the ether. So 301 redirects are very important. But what this person was saying is the web developers came back and they were saying that it was going to be too much, it was going to chew up too much of the server resources. And this is an Nginx server, not an Apache server, but an Nginx server. They're saying too many resources, and we want to see a month of analytics that show that these links are actually getting traffic, and we want to measure how much the server resources is. So my guess just by this is it might be a long list of 301 redirects, because I can tell you in all certainty that 301 redirects do not take up a lot of server resource at all. And there's only upside to it. There's no downside to having 301 redirects as far as performance. There's only upside as far as SEO. So my advice to this person would be, you know, I would, first off, I wouldn't give these people a month of analytics data, because it's just ridiculous. It sounds like it's a long list of 301 redirects, and they really just don't want to do the work. They don't want to have this extra thing added to their to-do list, and maybe they think that SEO is just snake oil garbage. But it is not. It is very valid, and what you're doing is trying to help the company. So what I would do is I would send an email to whoever's the most senior person on this web development team, or call a meeting, or whatever you need to do, communicate. But get the most senior person on the web development team, as well as CCing management, or get them involved in this communication chain as well, and show them like articles talking about how 301 redirects on an Nginx server do not take up a lot of resources. And I would also send them articles on the benefits of 301 redirects for SEO. Because at the end of the day, this is not really a web development issue. This is about making the company more money. Now, this person in the thread, they said that these web developers are more used to doing internal applications, B2B internal things, and not really public-facing websites. So that's probably why they're pushing back on this, and anything that's more work for them is they're going to push back on. But obviously 301 redirects, you need to have these for SEO. There's just all this link equity, page rank out there from these external sites, but they're just trying to not have to do one thing extra. But the way I would present this is basically just point out what other people have said about this, that performance on the server is not an issue, because it's not. And also show articles, numerous articles. You can email this to their lead developer, and also CC management, so that they sign off on this and say like, hey, this is going to help the company make more money. The higher you rank, the more traffic you get, the more people are going to come to this page and buy our products. So if it's good for SEO, it's going to be good for business. And at the end of the day, management cares about making more money. So that's who you really need to make an ally in this situation. Now, I have a feeling that this person internally is, they're treading carefully, because they're going to need the cooperation of these web developers later on down the line to implement other changes that they're suggesting. And they probably don't want internal politics where the web development team is planting seeds of dissent and trying to get this person fired or undermine them in any way. And this is a big reason why I will never, ever take another W-2 job again. Because of this kind of like internal politicking, where if you're on a team and you're dealing with these other people across the aisle, and you know that what you're suggesting is right, but these other people are trying to undermine it over here, and they're trying to lobby against you. Unfortunately, this happens a lot in larger organizations and enterprise level teams. But like I said, make it a case not about what the server performance is going to be, but make it a case about it's going to add revenue to the bottom line. Ultimately, SEO is benefiting your company by being able to sell more products. So that's the case that I would make. And like I said, get them to try and buy into it. But at the same time, just CC management, bring them into the conversation as well, to where they don't really have a choice. They have to do what you're telling them is the correct thing to do. I hope that makes a lot of sense here, because it's not always just the SEO consultant or the SEO person on the marketing team gives the suggestions and immediately everybody buys into it and says, yes, let's do that. We're instantly buying into this whole idea. A lot of times there is politicking, and you do have to sell this idea, and you do have to sell the benefit. So it is something that you have to face internally sometimes, or even if you're an outside consultant and you're bringing this information to the client team, but you need web development help. Luckily, I have a background as a web developer, and I never have to deal with this because like I said, I come from web development background, so that's an advantage right there. But if you're dealing with this internally, politicking type of thing, I would love to hear from you. Put it in the comments below if you've ever dealt with a situation like this where you had to sell your ideas and you were getting unnecessary pushback, because I would love to hear your story. My name's John Locke. My business is Lockdown Design and SEO. I'm here every day publishing videos to help people in the industrial and manufacturing space with SEO. And I would love it if you would subscribe. That's all I have for this video. Until next time, peace.